friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lizzie and I'm a Disney plush collector from the UK. So happy Tuesday, I hope you're all having a great start to your week so far. I am turning 30 on Thursday and as you know I don't upload on a Thursday, so this is my early birthday video. Today is actually my dad's birthday, he is 64 today, so go and wish him happy birthday in the comments, I'm sure he will appreciate it. I am seeing him tonight and then I am going to the airport to go to Disneyland Paris in the morning, and if you missed that trip announcement I will leave a card up above as there's a very exciting detail in there for you. So I didn't say it in my trip announcement because I'm an idiot, but Friday is going to be my packing video and then the 3 vlogs, the travel day, my birthday and coming home, will be on Saturdays, and then the Disneyland Paris haul will be on a Friday again. So there's just going to be these 3 extra uploads in April, but that's so that I can bring you things like an Easter vlog, the Stitch Attack snacks plush and things like that without having to just delay them until May, because I really didn't want to do that. So there's been a slight change to my schedule, but if you've got notifications turned on you won't miss those videos anyway. So I'd highly recommend you subscribe and ring the little bell next to the subscribe button, and on a desktop, on your app, any kind of place where you get notifications, you will be told when my videos go up. So I wanted to do something special for my 30th, apart from being away obviously, and yes I could have uploaded it that day, but I just don't think I'll be able to get back to comments that day, whereas today I can. So I thought about what I did when I turned 25, and if you didn't see that it will be in the description, but it was essentially 25 Disney quotes that had shaped my 25 years. So I called it 25 things I've learned in 25 years, but it was Disney quotes from different movies, and each year was a different movie that came out that year. So I really enjoyed making that video, but obviously I couldn't replicate it for my 30th because I would just be adding 5 more films. The quotes from the past 25 years would stay the same. And then I thought, I'm a plush collector, how can I spin this as a plush collecting video? So I started to think about what plushes have shaped my 30 years. They are all Disney, so you won't see like my earliest plush, although I will just pop him in here. He is a Russ bear, his name is Chestnut. He looks nothing like he did when I got him because he's just been so well loved, but he is in Mickey Mouse pyjamas. But there also won't be Jellycats in here, even though I think they're very important to my plush collecting journey, and I don't think I've even put a Disney Squishmallow in here because that wasn't the first Squishmallow I got, so it didn't seem right to put a Squishmallow in here for that reason. So I've chosen 30 plushes. I'll admit I don't have a year for all of them, but for the ones I do I usually have a little anecdote, so it's going to be a fun little trip down memory lane. I'm sure my mum will enjoy it when she sees this, but let's kick it off with the first Disney plush I ever remember owning. So this is a Disneyland Paris Sorcerer Mickey plush. My first trip to Disneyland Paris was in 1995, and one year I did actually post a kind of vlog of the home video we have from that trip. So if I can find it I will leave a card up above, as it's really cute. Little me meeting characters and stuff, and I think there's a parade in there. But this is the first plush I remember getting. I feel like I don't have a lot of the plush I had when I was a kid, but I'm glad I've held on to this one as I just think he's so cute and vintage, but not in the scary kind of vintage way, because I've got a few of those as well, but he's adorable. And then going on to the second one, also a Disneyland Paris plush. This one is from 1998, so this is when I know I went next. This is a gorgeous Minnie Mouse plush. Again, she's got that vintage style and I just really love her. Surprised she's not in my car, but she's just a bit too precious to go in my car, if that makes sense. Skipping ahead to 2003, this is when we went for my 9th birthday, and for context, my dad had wanted us to go on the like Armageddon experience, which is now where Web Slingers is in the studios, and I really didn't like it. I didn't know what was going on. I cried really hard and I think they had to take me out, but because my dad had wanted to go in there and I hated it so badly and it was actually my birthday, he felt so bad that he bought me a plush to say sorry, which I know is ridiculous, but it's just what my dad's like. So he got me this Minnie, but then because my dad is the one who encourages me to get both of everything, he also got me Mickey, but I thought for the purpose of this video I'm just going to show you one per thing. So this is the Minnie. I absolutely love her. I love her vintage style and how she kind of looks like she's been sewn together. There's like stitching on her and she's just absolutely gorgeous, and she's so well loved that she's actually got a little ripped stitch here. And then going on to not my first international trip, because we went to Walt Disney World in 2000. I just don't have a plush that I appeared to get at that time, not a Disney one anyway. I was really into Pokemon when we went, so I have some Pokemon plush from that trip instead. But in 2005, we went on a trip around America. So we went to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, we went to Las Vegas in Nevada, we went to a few different places in California. So I saw San Diego, I saw San Francisco, I obviously went to Los Angeles, and we went to Disneyland for a day, and it was the 50th anniversary. So I got this 50th anniversary Mickey. He's absolutely adorable. He's got so much detail on him. So he's got a 50th anniversary ear hat, a 50th anniversary t-shirt, a 50th anniversary bag, and then he's got a little gold kind of pin on his foot that says 50th anniversary, and he's just so special to me. I'm so glad I collected this, because that kind of thing didn't start till about 2012, so I'm glad I had the forethought, I guess, to get this one. Going on to number 5, and also 2012, we also went to New York for the first and only time that year, and I loved it so much that I've wanted to go back ever since. But I got this Statue of Liberty Minnie, who's absolutely adorable. She's got the old style stamp. I do actually also have the new style Minnie, but I bought that off a friend on Instagram. On to number 6, and still in 2012, I started university, and Tsum Tsums were released in the UK. They started off in a card shop called Clinton's, a bit like Hallmark, and there was a Clinton's on my way back from university to the train station because I commuted. So I got into this habit where I'd be like, just get through today and you can have a Tsum Tsum on the way home. So I started to treat myself to these Tsum Tsums, and it was getting really expensive, but I think it shows you how much I didn't enjoy my university experience, that I was having to like reward myself for going. But the first one I can remember getting was Marie from the Aristocats. They didn't do the rest of her family until the Disney store started selling them. So you can tell that this is an early one because it's a Posh Paws. It's quite nice seeing this now because I've worked with Posh Paws, so that's like a real full circle moment, because I kind of feel like the Tsum Tsums got me into hardcore collecting Disney plush. I feel like before that it was just the odd one I liked, but it really got serious with the Tsum Tsums. And then the end of my university journey was in 2015 when I graduated. I did actually miss my graduation because what Worcester University hadn't made clear until it was too late was that graduations were in November, and I was used to graduations being in like July from what I'd seen on Facebook and stuff. So we were actually in Florida when I was supposed to graduate, which my mum was really upset about and actually wanted to move the trip, but I didn't agree because I thought the trip was so much more important. It was for my parents' 25th wedding anniversary, and we were actually going to be there for the 25th wedding anniversary, and if we amended the dates and came back earlier, we'd have missed that. So I just didn't graduate, but I did get graduation presents, and something they still do now, but they bring them over to the UK now, which they didn't back then, is they do a graduation Mickey and Minnie every year, or now they've started doing Stitch as well, and they have the year on it. So I've got a graduation Mickey and Minnie that have 2015 all over them, and they were really hard to get. I had to pay a lot of money on eBay, but my parents paid for them, and my granddad bought me the Jim Shores I have, but they aren't dated. But I had to include these as I just think they're so special and so important to my 30 years. Staying in 2015 and back to that Walt Disney World trip that meant that I missed my graduation, me and my dad fought over this Woody Mickey. I think my dad bought it and I didn't because I'd run out of money. Again, for context, my nan had passed in the summer and she left me some money that basically just got spent in the first week at Walt Disney World, and then I struggled for the second week because I'm just so bad with money when I go somewhere that I either haven't been before or I haven't been for a long time. It had been 15 years since we last went, and we didn't know when we'd go again, which ended up being 2022. So I just bought everything in sight that I wanted. But my dad bought this, and I really wanted it, and my dad kept saying, which is so grim, but he kept saying that he would leave it to me in his will, and I was like, this isn't good enough, pal. So when we went in 2022, I got another one. So I think this is the original one, and my dad's got the one that we bought, but he's really sought after. I always get comments when I post him, and my dad actually collects these kind of Mickeys. So he's got a Jack Sparrow one, he's got an Indiana Jones one, so it goes well with dad's collection, but I wanted him because I just love Toy Story. That's not correct, actually. She died the summer before, but I still kept the money she left me until we went on that trip and blitzed through it. Again, 2015, but 2015 was a big year. So I graduated university, I met Joe that year, so The first Christmas we spent together, he told me he wasn't going to buy me any plush because I had enough, but he actually broke that and he bought me a Sully pillow pet, which I feel like this kind of started off my Sully collection. I'd always loved Monsters Inc, but Boo was actually my favourite, but this really kick-started my Sully collection, and I just love him. You can see how well loved he is by how scruffy he looks, shall I say. And then on to 2017, the 25th anniversary of Disneyland Paris. This was the first year that Joe came to Disneyland Paris with us, and it started off Joe loving Disney really, because he'd only been to the parks on a school trip for a day, so he hadn't properly experienced it. He'd had quite a rushed experience of it, and since then we've been to Disney many times. So this is the plush I remember getting, the Duffy 25th anniversary. I really loved Duffy. I also have a Walt Disney World Duffy that I should have included in this really, but I chose Woody Mickey instead because of the story of me and my dad fighting over it. But this trip, I remember I blitzed through quite a lot of money on the first day, and that kind of shocked Joe because Joe hadn't seen me like this before, but he'd never seen me in a Disney park setting before, and that's where all of my money just flies out the window. But I am going to show you a closer look at all of my Disneyland Paris plushes soon, so make sure you're subscribed and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss that video. But this is the plush that I remember buying on that trip. And then because of that trip, I started my written blog, Lize in Disneyland, and in February of 2018 I started this YouTube channel. And if you didn't see my 6 years of YouTube Q&A celebration video, I will leave a card up above to that, as it might answer some questions you've always had. But if you do have any more questions, you can always comment them or message me on Instagram and just ask me. A lot of weekends I do Q&As on Instagram as well. I need to pick those back up. I've stopped doing them of late, but I do need to bring them back. But I feel like my plush collecting journey did truly start when Mickey Memories came out. So that's why I'm going to choose January Mickey Memories, because it was the one that started it all. I remember getting it and then everyone was saying it sold out everywhere, and I felt so grateful that I'd got it. And then I was like, okay, I need to collect all 12 now. We didn't know what they were going to look like. They would show you the next month when one release, like they've done with Stitch Tack Snacks at the moment, but sometimes they would leak concept art of what the next few would look like, which was really exciting, and we've never really seen that since. But it really got me into doing Disney Plush reviews. I did them on my written blog, but obviously I stopped that when my YouTube channel kind of took all of my energy, because writing a blog and editing videos is just unsustainable for me, and I feel like what I do works better in a video format because you can see all the details of it. But I didn't start reviewing the plushes until Wisdom came out in 2019, but this is definitely what kind of started what I do now on this channel. And for 12 and 13, I'm not 100% sure that they actually came out in 2018. They're probably later, but when I started my Instagram and started to post more about what I was buying, I used to get a lot of comments asking where these two were from. So the first one is the UK release of the Mickey Mouse Director plush. I call him Walt because I just think that that's what they were going for, and he means a lot to me. I often tell people that he is one of my favourite plush, and he is. In that Q&A video I've just mentioned, I did show him as my favourite plush. And then for 13, I wanted to show his counterpart, the US Director Mickey, which I call Roy. I feel like I couldn't have one without the other, and back then you could get something from the US delivered to the UK on the website, so that's what I did, and I just absolutely love him. He never came to the UK sadly, so I'm so glad I got him. And then in 2018 I passed my driving test, and I thought it would be really cute to have a Minnie Mouse car, so my parents got me my red Fiat 500. If you haven't seen videos of it, I will post a card up above to the latest one, as I tended to do it every year then. I've actually bought some new plush to go in it recently, so there'll probably be a video of it soon, to be honest. But what I thought I would do was buy a Minnie Mouse from the Disney store and have it personalised, which you can do online, and I had it personalised with the date I passed my driving test, and I just think that's really special. I don't know what I'll do when I don't have a red car anymore. I've probably just got to have red cars for life now, when red isn't even one of my favourite colours. I just wanted to have all my minis in there. And then number 15, we're halfway through. This video is taking a lot longer than I thought it would, I'm not going to lie. But this is something that I got picked up because I didn't think I would ever get to go to the Walt Disney Family Museum, and I still haven't. It's still on my bucket list to go. So I got the Mickey and Minnie from the Walt Disney Family Museum picked up. They are a bit scary. scary. That's what I said at the beginning when I said I have got scary ones. These are quite scary, but they're meant to look like the original Mickey and Minnie plushes that you would have gotten, and it's from the retro collection at the Walt Disney Family Museum. I haven't found somewhere for them to live in this house yet, but I am working on it because they are so special to me that they need to be displayed somehow. And then one that I don't know the year for. I certainly didn't get it new. I bought it off a friend on Instagram, but it's really, really special to me. I have this Mickey that is holding Duffy. Mickey's in like a cruise outfit, and then Duffy's in a matching kind of sailor outfit, and I just absolutely love it. I think I got it around the time that we booked our first Disney cruise, which was meant to be 2020, and it didn't happen. And then in 2019, Donald Duck celebrated his 85th anniversary, and I got this from the Disney store. I actually went on the day that it was going to launch, because something I didn't mention earlier was Mickey Memories was the first time that I went to a Disney store for a release of something, which brought me a lot of friends. There's people that I wouldn't have met if I didn't go and queue so early, but it also kind of started a tradition between me and my mom where we would go to the Disney store at like 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure that we would get a plush. And I've never done that for anything else before, and I don't think mom has either, so I just think it shows how seriously I took plush collecting, and still do, but obviously we don't have a store to queue outside anymore. But I just absolutely love this plush. They stamped his foot, and I love the retro vibes it's got. It's definitely the best one they released that year for Donald's anniversary. And then 2019 was the first and only time actually that I've been to Tokyo Disneyland, and I bought my Gelatoni from there. Gelatoni's a cat when I'm a dog person, but at the time we didn't have Cookie Ann, so Gelatoni became my favourite. I love that he's grey with like a teal hat because I absolutely love teal, and grey is one of my favourite colours as well for some reason. But I just absolutely love Gelatoni, and I love that I got him myself from Tokyo Disney Sea. And then in September 2019 I went to Disneyland with my family, and this is when Wishables had just came out. So the first Wishable that I remember getting myself, i.e. not picked up by friends, was the Winnie the Pooh Wishable. I absolutely love Winnie the Pooh, as you know, and this was just a perfect set for me. So I think I bought them and opened them there, but normally if I got them now, if I got Munchlings now, I would get them and bring them home to film a sit down video here. But I think I was just so desperate to know which ones I had that I opened them there. And then this is a big one, so there's no way I'm bringing him in, but I've got good news for you. He actually lives here now. So that is my XL Stitch Cuddlies. So this is where he's living. He's just on that kind of box in the spare room that protects the stairs, I think. And he's just absolutely amazing. I bought him when I found out I'd got my job at the university that I work at. He was in the Black Friday sale. He should have been £80. He was £62, and I just really wanted him. I knew I would regret not having him, and he's just perfect. I get so many questions asking where you can buy him, and I just don't know, and people ask me to sell him, and that's a hard no as well. And then the next one, I don't know whether I got it in 2019. I might have got it for my birthday in 2020, but my friend James bought me this from Disneyland. It's the Up Minnie Mouse. She's absolutely gorgeous. She matched a dress that the dress shop actually sold at the time, but I didn't get to get it. But she's absolutely adorable. She's got the Up House and all of the balloons on her dress, and then she's got a grape soda pin on her bow. And you know I love Up. I actually wrote my university dissertation on Up. It was just after I'd lost my nan, and I did actually struggle because I kind of saw my nan in LA, even though they weren't that alike, but I managed to push through it. Now I know this one is 2021 because my 2020 cruise got cancelled, and then during COVID, Disney Cruise Line decided to do UK staycations. So I got this gorgeous Disney Cruise Line Duffy on my first ever Disney cruise. I've since done 3. So this one was on the Magic, but I've also been on the Fantasy and the Dream. But I just absolutely love this plush. Duffy isn't that big in the parks anymore, and he's even not that big on Cruise Line either. But whenever I see something of him, I have to get it. So I'm really, really glad that they did this plush. And then I couldn't mention 2021 without mentioning the Walt Disney World 50th anniversary that seemed to go on forever. It was still going on when we went in 2022, but I absolutely love the plushes that they brought out for this, but my favourite one has to be the finale plush. It's purple, which is one of my favourite colours. It follows the Mickey Memories sculpt, which is very special to me, being the first collection I properly collected, and he's just a gorgeous, gorgeous plush. Now this one, I've got to say, I can't remember what year he gave it to me, but I feel like it's one of the last things that my granddad gave me. So he used to let me go through his TY Beanie Babies to pick the ones I wanted, basically. And now that he's sadly passed away, I do get the remainder of his collection. But the most special one he's ever given to me was this little Winnie the Pooh. I have never seen this for sale anywhere. I don't know how he got it. I didn't know how long he had it. I hadn't seen it until he asked me if I wanted it, and I just really love it. It's so special to me because it's one of the last things I got from him. It meant a lot that he knew how much I love Disney, that he let me have this, and he just means so much to me. He's never leaving me, ever. And then onto a lighter note, as it got a little bit deep there. Me and Joe got engaged in 2022, so I asked my friend Laura in America if she would get this specific bride and groom plush for me. I think she had to get it from Target, but I could be wrong. So this is on our wedding shelf and I just absolutely love it. It's Mickey and Minnie together holding a heart that says love. Also in that year, Goofy turned 90, so I got the 90th anniversary plush. Goofy is my favourite of the Fab Five, to be honest, but I do prefer Donald's 85th to this Goofy one, because don't get me wrong, it's a really cute plush, but I just loved how vintage the Donald one looked, and whilst this one is vintage in colour, I don't think his face looks that different to how it does now. And then in 2022, we sadly lost the Wishables. They stopped doing them, although they have recently brought Wishables back, and I am unboxing some next Tuesday, so meet me back here next Tuesday at 6 PM UK time to see me open the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind Wishables. It's a really good video. There's no tears like there are with Munchlings sometimes, but I embraced the Munchlings. They are a bit more frustrating because they're more expensive than Wishables were, and there's just no way of knowing what you're getting. You can't feel them because they're in boxes. You can't smell them anymore because they've took the scents away. It's just really luck of the draw, and I don't like that. Whereas Wishables, Laura used to get them for me and she would feel the bags, so she would try and make sure that I didn't get duplicates. But I do love Munchlings, and my favourite Munchling that they did I actually got in big form, and that is Baymax as a s'more. I just absolutely adore him. I've got the little one as well, but I think it just shows how much I love him that I got him a second time in the big form. And then I seem to have been picking things that I really love, like Tsum Tsums, Wishables, Munchlings, so I couldn't not mention a Big Feet, and I'm going to choose Remy, as Remy was my grail for the longest time. They never had him when I went to Disneyland Paris. I was hoping to get him in 2022 in Walt Disney World, didn't get him, he was out of stock everywhere. And then I finally got him picked up before my March 2023 Disneyland Paris trip. I did have to pay quite a bit more, and then they had him when I went, but I just wasn't to know, and I'm glad I got him anyway. So this is my favourite Big Feet plush. I get quite a lot of comments on him because he sits right there usually. I've just put Baymax there so there's not a gap, but yeah, he's from the parks. You can only get him in parks where they have the Ratatouille ride, so that's Epcot in the France Pavilion and in Walt Disney Studios at Disneyland Paris. But I just absolutely adore him. And on that 2022 Walt Disney World trip, there was something I really wanted, but because we were doing a split stay between Walt Disney World and the Disney cruise, I didn't know whether I could afford it, and I regretted not getting them ever since because there were two. So when me and Joe went in October of 2023, I had to get them, and that is the Stife plushes. So this is the Minnie. She's an authentic Stife plush and she's holding a Stife bear as well. I do now have some of the cheaper Stifes that I am going to show you in a video, but I want to get one more first. I don't know whether I'm getting it for my birthday. If I don't, I'm just going to treat myself to it because I would like to do this video, and that's the one I feel like I'm missing from my collection. But they're a different quality, so I will go through that in that video. But I've got Minnie and Mickey in this style and I just absolutely love them. They're from the Germany Pavilion in Epcot. And then I haven't picked one for this year because we're just so early into the year that I don't feel like I can pick a favourite yet. So my 30th plush is still from 2023 and it's a grail I'd had for the longest time. So when Disney stores were still open, I really wanted to do an opening ceremony where they gave you a key. It did start a really long Disney key collection that I had going on because they just started to roll them out with certain purchases, but there were some that you could only get from opening that store with the large key. So Joe and I took a trip to Blackpool in, I think, October or November of 2018, and we actually got to the Disney store really early so that we could be the first ones there to open the store. No one else came, so it's not like I took the opportunity from a child or anything, but it was a weekday, they'd be going to school, and I opened the store and it was so special, and Cuddlies had just come out like that week, so they had all kinds of characters, and I chose Stitch, the regular one, not my XL one, and I said I will get Baymax when I've got paid, because they were like £30 each and I couldn't justify buying both at the time. But then they all sold out. I managed to get a few in re-releases, and this particular one never re-released. I'd been tempted to buy one secondhand, but knowing how the stuffing disappears from them, I just knew it would be bad quality, and people were charging more than they originally were, which I didn't think was fair when their quality would have gone down. So when the Disney store released it last year, I had to get it. I also got a Goofy as well, which was a new release, but my grail was the Baymax Cuddlies. So as you can see, for some reason, mine has a bit of a Marilyn Monroe dot. I've never used a pen around him, so I don't know how he's got a pen mark on him, but I just absolutely love him. He is one of my favourite plush of all time. I think he works really well in this Cuddlies style, and I just absolutely adore him. So he is my 30th plush. I was toying with the idea of showing my new Marie as my favourite one so far, but we're only into March. It feels really unfair to pick one for this year at the moment, but I am planning next month possibly to do a roundup plush review of the plushes that haven't had a video on their own, because there's about 4 different plushes that I've planned to do a review of, and then I just haven't had time with my trip vlogs and things like that, and I don't want to do more uploads to satisfy that. So I think I might just do a longer video where I review 4 or 5 plushes all in one, just so that you've seen them, so that they're not a surprise if they end up in like a favourites video at the end of the year. But that is it from me. Those are my 30 plush in 30 years. It is a shame that I couldn't do it year by year like I did with my quotes one, but I hope you enjoyed this format. I really enjoyed making it for you. It's been really nice trying to decide what plushes to include, because I have been changing them up. I had a little note on my phone, and every so often I'd delete one and add a different one in, and it's just been a really fun video to film. And of course I've got my 30 balloons. I'm not even going to be here for my 30th, but I wanted to make sure I had 30 balloons because it is a big milestone. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know which one was your favourite, and I will see you on Friday for my packing for Disneyland Paris video. Bye friends!